Hello, friends. If you're 65 or older and someone told you a flat $2,400 OAS clawback hits your account on July 29th, stop. That is not how this works, and believing it could cost you real money. Here are 6 things Service Canada won't spell out. And stay with me until number 6, because that's the one almost everyone gets completely backwards. Number 1. The July 29th panic is a payment date, not a penalty. Your old age security deposit lands near the end of every month, and late July is simply when that check arrives. There is no special new rule switching on that day. What actually changes each July is the recovery tax cycle. The government looks at the net income you reported last year, and if it crossed the line, they start quietly holding back part of your OAS for the next 12 months, from July through the following June. So the real question is never what happens on the 29th. The real question is whether your income for the year crossed the threshold, and that number for 2025 income is $93,454. Under that line, your OAS is untouched, no matter what a headline screamed at you. Take Margaret, 68, in Hamilton. She saw a Facebook post about the 29th called Service Canada in a Panic and learned her net income was $71,022 below the line. She'd lost a week of sleep over $0 of clawback. Compare that to her brother, who never checked his own number and assumed he was fine at $98,000. He was actually over, and no post ever warned him. He only found out in April when his refund came up $600 short. The mistake people make is panicking at a date and ignoring the number that actually triggers everything. If your net income sits below $93,000, you can relax. Nothing is being clawed back, and no deposit is being frozen on any specific day. Write that threshold down. It is the single most important figure in this entire video, and it is the one the scary posts almost never show you. Number 2. It is 15 cents on the dollar, not a flat charge. The clawback is not a $2,400 bill dropped on everyone equally. It is a recovery tax of 15% on every dollar your income runs above that $93,454 threshold. Let me make it concrete. If your net income for the year was $100,000, you're $6,546 over the line. 15% of that is $981.90 spread across the July to June payment year. That's about $82 shaved off each monthly check, not $2,400. Now compare 2 neighbors. One at $95,000 loses just $230 for the whole year, about $19 a month, while the scare post told him to expect $2,400. To actually lose $2,400, you'd need to be roughly $16,000 over the threshold, around $109,000 in income. The error that hurts people here is assuming the worst-case scare figure applies to them and then making a rushed decision, cashing out an investment, refusing income they're entitled to dodge a bill that was never their bill. One retiree sold $20,000 of mutual funds early to stay safe, triggered a real capital gain of $11,000, and pushed himself over the line he was comfortably under to begin with, turning a $0 clawback into a $1,600 tax hit he created himself, plus the trading fees his advisor collected on the sale. Do the math on your own number. Income minus $93,454 times 15%. That is your real exposure, and for most retirees, it's a fraction of what the headlines shout. Number 3. It's your net world income that counts, and that catches people off guard. Many retirees think, I don't have a big salary, so I'm safe. But the clawback is measured on line 23600, your net world income, and that includes far more than wages. It includes your CPP, every dollar you pull out of an RRSP or RRIF, employment or self-employment income, interest, rental income, and here's the sneaky one, capital gains and grossed-up dividends. Canadian eligible dividends get grossed up by 38% on your return, so $10,000 of dividend cash shows up as $13,800 on line 23600. The clawback sees the bigger number even though your bank account got the smaller one. A retiree living on $40,000 in dividends can look like $55,000 to OAS and never understand why. Someone who sells a cottage or a stock in a single year can spike their net income far past $93,000 for that one year and trigger a clawback they never saw coming. Picture Gerald. He sold a rental condo for a $90,000 gain, added $45,000 of that to his taxable income, and watched a full year of OAS evaporate. A $9,000 hit he could have softened by selling in December and January across 2 tax years, splitting the gain so neither year cleared the ceiling. The costly mistake is stacking a big RRIF withdrawal, a property sale, and a dividend year all into the same tax year. This week, pull last year's tax return and look at line 23600, the actual number, not your take-home. That's the figure OAS uses. Quick reminder before we go on. Number 6 is the move that lets you claw money back from them. Hold that thought. Number 4. The ceiling where your OAS disappears entirely. Above the minimum threshold, every extra dollar keeps eroding your pension until it hits zero. For 2025 income, that full clawback ceiling is $152,062 if you're between 65 and 74, and $157,923 if you're 75 or older. Cross that, and you receive no OAS at all for the year. That's roughly $8,700 of pension gone for a 65 to 74 retiree, about $727 vanishing from every single monthly check. Notice the seniors 75 plus get a slightly higher ceiling. That's because their base OAS is 10% larger, so it takes more income to fully wipe it out. Consider a couple, Tom and Linda. Tom draws $150,000 alone, while Linda reports $20,000. Tom loses nearly all his OAS. Had they split his RRIF income and pension so each reported around $85,000, both would sit under the $93,000 line and keep every dollar of their pensions, a swing of over $8,000 a year, just from who reports the income. The mistake here is a couple both drawing income right up near that ceiling, without coordinating or using pension income splitting on line 21,000. Which lets the higher earner move up to 50% of eligible pension income onto the lower-earning spouse's return. If your household income is anywhere near $150,000, this is where the biggest dollars live. Know your ceiling for your age bracket, because that's the point where the recovery tax stops being an annoyance and starts erasing the entire check. Number 5. They estimate it in advance, so a one-time spike bites you a year later. Here's what surprises retirees most. The recovery tax isn't settled after the fact. Service Canada estimates it ahead of time from your last filed return and starts deducting it from your monthly OAS before you've earned this year's income. So if you had one unusual high-income year, a big RRIF conversion, a home sale, a severance, your OAS can get reduced all through the following year, even if your income has since dropped back to normal. Take Dennis. He took a $40,000 severance in 2024, crossed the line by $15,000, and in 2025, back to a modest $58,000 in income, watched about $188 vanish from every OAS check for a spike that was already over, more than $2,000 for a year. He never actually earned that money. He assumed there was nothing to do but ride it out until his 2025 return caught up the following spring. People feel punished for a year that's already behind them. The mistake is assuming you're stuck with those reduced payments for the whole 12 months and simply waiting it out. You are not. And that leads directly to the last point. Number 6. The one most people get backwards. You can get it stopped mid-year. Retirees assume the clawback is final and just wait, watching reduced checks all year. But if your income has genuinely dropped from that high year, you can file Form T1213, OAS, the request to reduce OAS recovery tax at source, and ask the CRA to lower or stop the monthly deductions right away, instead of waiting until you file and get it back as a refund a year later. Dennis did exactly that. He downloaded the form, attached proof his income had fallen back to $58,000. His CPP slip and a letter confirming the severance was one time, mailed it to his tax center, and the CRA stopped the deductions within 2 months, putting more than $1,800 back into his cash flow that year instead of next spring. That's real money returned to your pocket now, not 16 months from now. Most people never file it because no one tells them it exists. So this week, do one thing. Pull last year's return, find your net income on line 23,600, and compare it to 93,454. If you're under it, ignore the scare posts entirely. If you're over it and your income has since fallen, look up Form T1213, OAS. If this helped you or a parent, subscribe and share it with someone over 65. The ones who know the real rules keep their money. The ones who panic at fake headlines lose it.